I will now make a statement in my capacity as the representative of the Russian Federation. We are presenting our draft and on the humanitarian situation in Syria. Unlike the other draft, which I already spoke about, our text is characterized by an exclusively humanitarian approach and doesn't contain any politicized passages. It wishes to maintain the ceasefire that was entered into on the 31st of August, to continue the fight against terrorism and also to guarantee humanitarian access to Idlib. The representative of the United States, when speaking on this resolution, said that the Council cannot reach an agreement on a ceasefire. But we don't need to, because there is already a ceasefire in Idlib, and there has been one since the 31st of August this year. The irony is that the first person to violate this ceasefire regime was the US aviation on the beginning of the activity of that ceasefire on the 31st of August. We also have to prevent brutal attacks in Syria. But the United States should probably look at its own actions in fighting with terrorists in Iraq and Mosul and other areas, and looking at whether or not they observed humanitarian law at that time. Our air forces have not razed to the ground whole cities. It's only making strikes on the basis of tried and tested objectives on establishing where terrorists are, avoiding any attacks where civilians might be at risk. Certainly none of the members of the Security Council could combat or speak against any of the points in our resolution. Today we wish to reach an agreement on the humanitarian situation in Syria, but if there are some objections on the part of any of the parties, then the international community and we would be very pleased to hear those objections. In voting on the Russian draft, we encourage colleagues to observe the following. The phase of armed combat in the Syrian conflict has almost come to an end. Those who are genuinely interested in a political settlement have joined in the process. A lot of work has already been done. We must support these targeted efforts undertaken, including by the UN, but we should not use humanitarian issues for other aims. The only thing that can continue the war that is destroying the country and undermining civilians are terrorists. So we need to work on de-radicalization of the positions. Having said that, as our draft stipulates, the international community should undertake all of the measures to improve the humanitarian situation. We hope that a constructive approach will be taken by the members of the Security Council in supporting our